Hello and welcome to another episode of Dishn with Andy. Today we're going to be talking about the band Starship from the 80s. Starship, I think the iteration of Starship is probably the best part of the band, my opinion. But let's talk about Starship and how they came about. So it originally was Jefferson Airplane. And they formed in San Francisco in 1965. And they were around until about the mid-70s when they kind of dissolved. I don't really care for their music. It's more the counterculture, hippie stuff. I'm not a big fan of that kind of music. So I never really liked many Jefferson Airplane songs. That was the original name of the group, Jefferson Airplane. And then a few remaining people kind of reformed Jefferson Airplane, and they called it Jefferson Starship. And they were around until the mid-80s. And then the last member of Jefferson Airplane that had founded it left the group, and the group that was remaining, which included Grace Slick from Jefferson Airplane. However, she was not one of the originals. She came in like 1966 after the band had been there, had been working for a year or so. So they sued and they came to an agreement that they wouldn't use the name Jefferson on anything unless it was the original members of that group. So they just changed their name to Starship, plain and simple. And that is also around the time that there was a change in the direction of the music. Lead singer Micky Thomas, who was there since the Jefferson Starship days, I'm not sure if it was his decision or if they had a band, like a manager that said, hey, let's do this. But they changed their sound instead of more of a rock and like 70s rock style, which Jefferson Starship was more of like, in my opinion, like 70s rock, and Jefferson Airplane is more of like counterculture hippie rock stuff. But Starship changed their sound completely to like the popular music of the 80s, pop music. And if you're a fan of 80s music like I am, then you know like how amazing that era was for the kind of music that there was. I mean, there's all kinds of amazing songs that came out in the 80s that just, they don't make songs like that anymore. And whenever I'm doing housework in the house, besides dishes, don't worry, there won't be a vacuuming with Andy. Anyways, whenever I'm doing, gotta be careful, this is a ninja blade, that's gonna be very sharp. Anyways, whenever I'm doing housework, I'm usually playing 80s music throughout the whole house, with my Google setup, and I really enjoy 80s music. So yeah, Starship, in my opinion, is their best iteration. That's when they seem to be the most popular, too. Like, they had a lot of great popular songs. One of those popular songs is We Built This City. And as the professor of rock says, I'm not going to quote him exactly. He's got a really good YouTube channel here. That can't be the worst song ever made, because the worst song ever made is being made 15 times a week right now. So, We Built This City, it's a very catchy tune. You can sing along to it, and you hear it everywhere. Like, I don't think it's a bad song. I think it's been played too much. I've heard this thing at more sporting events than I care to mention. And I'm talking like high school sporting events. So I think that's where the hate comes from. It's not a bad song. It's really catchy. It's really cool. It's got a really good vibe to it. And there's like a little part near the end of it where your DJ could localize it for your hometown. So that's kind of neat. And that was a great marketing decision, too, to do something like that. It's pretty good. But yeah, I think Starship met their stride in the 80s pop rock sound. And Micky Thomas, of course, has amazing vocals as one of the lead singers, and then Grace Slick, her voice is impressive, it's powerful, and a small fact here, one of the songs we're going to talk about actually got Grace Slick an award or whatever or a record that wasn't broken until I think the early 2000s by Cher, and that was the oldest performer to lady to have a #1 hit. And so yeah. Anyways, so I'm going to talk about my favorite album of theirs, and it is called No Protection. It is their sophomore effort. The first one was called Knee Deep in the Hoopla. That was Starship's first album. And it, matter of fact, that's a lyric out of We Built This City. So anyways, I'm going to talk about the songs on that album, because I have the vinyl of it. My wife got it for me as a gift, and I love it. It's a cool album to have. So anyways, the first song on it is called Beat Patrol. And it's a catchy tune. It's poppy. It's a good start for the album. It is basically about, wanting to dance. Wanting to have fun, wanting to dance. It's good. It's a good song. Oh, yeah. You never know what kind of stuff you'll see in here. So, I like the song Beat Patrol. It's pretty good. Then next up is Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. And that was a monster hit when I was a kid. I remember this song. It got that power ballad kind of feel to it. And the vocals are amazing. It was a big song based on the movie Mannequin that had Kim Cattrall as a mannequin that came to life. And I forget the other guy, or the guy that was in that movie. I cannot remember his name for the life of me, but he was in Weekend at Bernie's with Jonathan Silverman. He's the other guy. I think that's him. Anyways, that song, though, is incredible. Matter of fact, I recommend, if you don't listen to any Starship at all, because you don't like We Built This City, at least listen to Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. It is a really catchy, good, upbeat song about love. You can't go wrong with it. So then the third album, or the third song on the album, is It's Not Over Until It's Over. And that is actually like a power anthem, like montage music. You could hear like Rocky training to a song like this. And it's actually from a movie, and it is not, the movie version is by a different group. This is a recreation by Starship. But they did really good on it. It's a catchy tune. I like it. It's fun to listen to as well. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Then the next one is Girls Like You. And that is a classic 80s song. I really like it. It's about a guy basically saying girls that have lied to him and stuff. The girls like you, basically. It's really good. I recommend that one too. Give it a listen. See what you think. Number 5, Wings of a Lie. That's another power ballad about wanting to not be in love. Don't lead me on is the gist of that song. That's what that means. Number 6, of course, is The Children. It's corny and I don't really care for it. I'm looking over at my notes here. I've listened to this album several times and I just don't like this song. It's basically talking about the children growing up, and it just sounds so weird. I don't get it. I don't understand why it's even on the album. It's not their best stuff. Number 7 is I Don't Know Why. It's another ballad song. I'm not a fan of it. It was written by, I think Grace Slick actually wrote that song. So, I don't know. That's why I don't like it. I mean, I think her vocal work is amazing. She can really belt it, and she does on the song, of course, Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now. So, and then the next one is number 8, Transatlantic. I like this one. It is a really cool song, actually. It's got this like stretchy horn noise in it, like I can't imitate it. It is basically really catchy song. I could see it being like the intro song to a 1980s romantic comedy with like Michael J. Fox or something. I really could. It's like the opening song to something like that. It's a pretty cool song. I recommend it. Give that one a listen. Tell me if you like the stretchy horn noise. Maybe I'll insert a copy like that part of the song in right here and cut into it. Then the next song is Say When. It's a sad song. Love the chorus on this song. Really catchy as well. Give it a listen. Number 10, Babylon. I don't like it. It's weird. Talks about the city of Babylon and the streets of gold and all this other stuff. And I don't know. For me, if I don't understand the lyrics to a song, like why they're in there, then I don't really want to listen to it. You know, I can't enjoy it. My mind doesn't work that way. Because I'm like, well, I don't know what you're even talking. You're talking about the city Babylon. I have no connection to that city. Okay? I just don't. So I can't really get into it. And the lyrics are kind of strange and weird. I don't care for that one either. And the last one is Set the Night to Music. It's a slower song. It's just okay in my opinion. Nothing special there. It's not like amazing. Now, of course, there were other great songs by Starship. Off of Knee Deep in the Hoopla, their first album, there's the song Sarah. That was a reasonable hit for them. And from their third album, now, after No Protection, Grace Slick left the band to reunite with Jefferson Airplane for one last tour, or it's supposed to be starting up the band again, but they never really did because it never really took off. But anyways, they changed the kind of music that Starship does again, and it was more of a rocky sound, like more of a rock sound than the pop stuff they were doing for the last two albums. And one of the songs off of that one is called It's Not Enough. It's okay. It's not horrible. Not my kind of stuff, though. I have a very broad taste of music. I don't care for rock. I don't care for rap too much. But, I'll listen to just about the other stuff. And especially stuff that's got a catchy pop tune to it. I really like that kind of stuff. And so, it's hard for me to get into those. Now, one thing I will say, Grace Slick did not care for performing in Starship after a while. She said that it became too like a job, I guess. And, I mean, look, I'm not a musician at all. But I would think that when you're starting to reach your peak popularity and everything's starting to, take off, that's when you'd want to be there. You've earned it at that point. You're not wondering where your next meal is going to come from because you're selling millions of albums at that point. I don't know why she said that. I don't understand. It might be the way she, maybe she's just a hippie at heart. I really don't know. So the only thing I can say is Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now is a heartful, beautiful song that just clicks for me. The music, the lyrics, everything just kind of, you can feel the love in that song. I really like that song. So I just want to say, give it a listen and remember the fond memories of the 80s when everything that wasn't, didn't seem so serious. I was just a little kid in the 80s for most of them. Wasn't, who was born in the first half, but my memories of the 80s are very vague. 88, 89, I think, is about as far back as I can go. So I didn't really catch much of the vibe of the 80s, but it is the era that, I don't know, seemed to have the best comedy movies, the best music, just a lot of bests, in my opinion. Prosperity was on the rise, it seemed. It just seemed like a really good time to be alive for a lot of people. I'm not saying that everything is horrible now, but, it just seemed like everybody that lived in that time, they always look back at the 80s. They always say, man, the 80s were great. The movies were great, Back to the Future, and RoboCop, and, Caddyshack, of course, and Fletch, and just tons of stuff. It just seemed like a really cool era to live in, that's all I'm saying. Well, I guess that's all the Dishn I have for today. Anyways, appreciate you watching. Long story short, give me a like, and why don't you get over here and help me dry now. Have a good one.